welcome to episode 336 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right, you're listening to a podcast that's for you if you play Magic the Gathering, whether you're sitting at home jamming some arena or, God forbid, Magic Online, or if you're heading out to your local game store to have some fun. We're here for you.
Hey man, if you want to play Modern Horizons Draft, you've got to play on Magic Online.
Okay, that's true. That's legit.
Can I tell you though, I have had dreams about playing Modern Horizons Draft on Arena. I've literally dreamed it.
I believe that.
And then I woke up and I'm like, oh, I can't.
I can't.
So sad. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody.
That's right. On this week's episode, we have our famed Judge Rob episode for Core Set 2020.
Yes, the pre-release is coming up this weekend as early as Friday in some locations.
Yes, or perhaps you're going to get on Arena tomorrow.
Yeah, today.
As you are listening to this podcast.
It's available on Tuesday the 2nd. Can you believe
Whoa,
it?
Bonkers.
I know. I'm so excited because this core set is not your regular core set.
No, it is wearing a fancy hat.
That's a perfect way to describe it. Before we start the show, I wanted to give a couple of shout outs. Number one is to Tony Levesque, who is our winner of our Mythic Championship 3 fantasy draft.
Congratulations. Yay! Can I ask you the most important question? Did he beat Paul?
He beat Paul.
Wow, congratulations,
Good job, Tony.
Nice
You know
work.
how to pick them. And a congratulations to Brent Wright, who is our Gleam giveaway winner for last month.
Nice.
And I just got to say this, you can enter every month our Gleam giveaway, by the way.
Yes.
It's
not many people
notes.
enter.
Not enough
so
people
you
enter.
would have a potentially really good chance of winning.
Go down in the notes, go down below the YouTube video, hit enter, and please
You'll
enter.
get some sick swag from us and from our sweet sponsors.
Yeah, Card Kingdom and UltraPro. Speaking of Card Kingdom.
Yes. Thank you.
Card Kingdom is great.
Yeah, they're A+. They're one of the sponsors of the show. They are wonderful. Do you know what I tell people when I talk about our podcast?
What?
They're always just like, oh, do you have sponsors? Because
Yeah.
a lot of podcasts do. And I'm like, yeah. And what's really cool is that we get to have sponsors that are part of our community.
Yeah.
We don't have to, we don't have to do like meal kit delivery or mattresses.
Or underwear.
Or mail delivery services. No, we get to have Card Kingdom, which is such a cool part of the Magic community. And such a great way to get everything that you need to play games with your friends.
Yeah, and if you want to order anything from Card Kingdom, which we highly recommend, just use the link cardkingdom.com/GLHF and then ask for a Good Luck High Five token or sticker in your order, and they'll give you one totally free.
Wow.
I know.
What a deal.
How much is free these days? Not much.
Not much.
Even a kick in the shins will cost you about $25.
Where are you going?
You know, if you want a really good kick in the shins.
I don't.
Not your everyday run-in-the-mill kick in the shins.
Don't.
All right, well, you know.
Thank you as well to everyone who is a patron of the show over on patreon.com/GLHF Magic. It really does mean so much to us.
Yeah, Patreon is the way to directly support the show, to show that we're something that you value every week, and just a chance to give back to the content creators that give you something every week. So if you listen every week or every other week, or you get anything at all out of the show, we highly encourage you to support and give back and kind of vote with your dollars to things that matter in your life.
You get access to our, in addition to your benefits, you also get access to our awesome Discord channel.
It's the best Discord channel.
So great. Pictures of cats. Talk about cats. Pictures of ferrets. Talk about ferrets. Talk about magic also.
Yes.
All of the different kinds of magic. You can find people to talk about modern with, standard, limited.
Board games.
Board games. It's all on there. So find some cool people to hang out with over on our Discord.
All right, let's get ready for our pre-release coming up this weekend.
Woo!
Hey, what's that the sound of?
A train coming down the track.
A hype train?
Yeah, a hype train.
Oh, okay. Toot toot.
Or an owl that's pretty happy.
Oh, sweet.
Woo!
Hype trains are so yesterday. Hype owls are so today.
So today. So hot right now.
Hey everybody, it's time to welcome Judge Rob onto the episode to tell us about M20.
Yay!
Hi.
Yay.
Oh, hi Judge Rob, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you doing?
Pretty
Excellent.
good. What are you reading today?
The Gods Themselves. It's Isaac Asimov's least concrete novel. He won a Hugo for it. It's about a three-gendered society that thinks in emotions.
Whoa, that's kind of cool.
It's not set with humans at all. None of the characters are humans.
Wow.
It's a fascinating, weird book.
I think having one of my books called my least concrete book would just be like a great honor.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. I hope that we all manage to have non-concrete books.
Well, I mean, Isaac Asimov wrote a lot of science stuff. He's the most published author in
Accurate.
American history.
Wow.
And most of it's hard science things.
Wow, if you never thought you'd learn anything on Good Luck High Five, check yourself.
Check yourself. Also, wow, that would be really sad and bad.
Anyway, welcome Judge Rob.
Hi.
Judge Rob is here to help us work through our Magic 2020 pre-release.
It's true.
And it's a core set, which means it's not as complex as most Magic sets. It's a great entry point for
Yes.
people who want to start start learning Magic.
Yes.
Or play in a really friendly environment, because pre-releases are awesome in friendly places. And you usually kick things off with a public service announcement.
I do. This one is I have a very simple core statement to it. Let people enjoy things.
That's great.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody enjoys something, they probably enjoy something different than you. I know that you enjoy different things than me. I enjoy different things than you. Like, everybody enjoys something. If someone enjoys James Joyce, like we talked about last time that I was here just a few weeks ago, this is why I said I'm not crapping on James Joyce, because James Joyce is brilliant. He's just not something that I enjoy. So if somebody likes movies that you don't, if somebody likes Magic cards that you don't try to talk them out of having fun, because that sucks. If I showed up to your pre-release and said, Magic, that game's crap. You should be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! It's more fun in every way. Here's all the problems with your game and why you shouldn't be having fun right now. That sucks.
Yeah.
So, like, if somebody enjoys something, if somebody thinks that, their 7 cost 3/3 in this set is the most fun card ever to play, you can let them know that probably won't see play in Modern, but it might be an ultra fun card for them to play in their Oathbreaker deck or in their Commander deck or casually at the kitchen table or just to hang up on their wall, because there are cards that are bad at being cards but are really good at having great art. Like,
I love that.
yeah, there's something for everybody out there in life, and it'd be a silly old world if we were all the same.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Yeah.
That is a lovely statement. And so true. Like, we're entrenched in the competitive community
Yes.
a lot. And sometimes, people who are ultra competitive have a hard time with the casual community, and, maybe even vice versa. But I think more the latter. And just, a lot of people enjoy Magic differently than you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to kick things off with the new rules that emerge with M20.
The one new rule that is very important.
Rule.
The mulligan procedure is changing.
Yay!
Whoa.
I'm so excited.
The London mulligan. I have opinions on why the decision was made. I think that some of the paths to get here were bad, but the mulligan itself is really good. So, yes. The London mulligan is a new way to mulligan. It's really similar to the old one. You're going to have fewer cards at the end of it. Anytime that you mulligan now, though, you will draw 7. Then, if you decide you like the hand, you will put down a number of cards equal to the number of times you've mulliganed. So, to the bottom of your library, you won't shuffle them. They'll just go to the bottom.
In the order that you choose?
Yep, in the order that you choose. In general, anytime something gets put into your library, you choose the order in which it goes. So, the London mulligan, you will, if you look at your opening 7, you're like, 7 swamps. Go away. You shuffle that hand away, you will draw 7 new cards, and you'd be like 6 swamps and a Tempest Djinn.
Wow, I'm sorry for you. First of all,
My sample hand generator is
playing?
really bad. I'm playing 10 islands and 7 swamps. I'm drawing
okay.
There's 6
Okay.
swamps and Tempest
You're
Djinn.
unlucky. You're unlucky.
Like, I would play that library, right? Like,
Yeah,
10
okay.
islands and a Tempest Djinn is a fine deck. But Tempest Djinn isn't in this set. We have some random knight instead. But yeah, you'll look at it and go, no. You'll pick up another hand and the 7 cards is fine. I'll keep this. If you've looked at a total of 3 hands, your first one is free. You take 2 cards from this hand because you mulligan to 5, and you put those in the bottom of your library. If something does things during the mulligan process, you technically put those cards down before you do that thing. So the Serum Powder says you can take additional mulligans, basically. It's got a lot of words to say that. Serum Powder, you would put those cards on the bottom, you take these 5 cards, and then you throw them away for Serum Powder and get 5 fresh cards.
Okay.
For everybody in Modern who is super concerned about Serum Powder blowing up the format. It's fine. It isn't any better than it was before, I don't think. So, but be aware the London mulligan is happening. After you're done mulliganing, you used to scry. You don't scry anymore. You got to super scry by getting to keep extra cards and then throw them away. So, yep, that's the basic London mulligan procedure. If you have questions on it, ask whoever's running your tournament, ask your opponent, chat about mulligans, remind people to London mulligan.
Yeah. I'll forget probably.
Well,
Yeah.
but it's really easy to catch. You'll count 6 cards
Yeah,
face
you're
down,
right.
and then you'll pick them up, and then your opponent will go 6, and you'll go 7.
7. It's a nice present.
Yes,
Oh.
I get rewarded. The one drawback I found playing the London Mulligan, it leads to more regret.
What do you mean?
I know what mistakes I've made. I definitely have had mulligans where I'm like, I don't think this 3-drop's going to be relevant. Put it down. Like 6 turns later, I'm like, I know that there's a 3 that I need on the bottom of my
it's just
library.
sitting on the bottom.
I missed casting a spell on 3. Mistakes were made.
Okay, yeah,
So-
that's fair.
So be aware you may have more regrets, but you will have less non-games. So the trade-off works
So
out.
higher
That's just
regrets.
a warning we can put
Yes.
on life, though.
Yeah, you will probably have some regrets. Is a good warning about life.
All right, so that's the London Mulligan.
Yeah.
Excited for that personally. And then we have a bunch of returning mechanics, so no
Yeah.
new mechanics with the set.
Nope,
only
this
returning.
set has only what are called evergreen mechanics, things that can show up in every set. It added one mechanic as an evergreen mechanic, which I didn't actually spell out, but I will call out. And it is bringing back a mechanic as an evergreen mechanic.
Can I ask you a trivia question here,
Yeah,
Judge Rob?
absolutely.
This is a piece of modern trivia that I asked at the GP this past weekend. What evergreen mechanic was changed because too many people were using it wrong?
Because too many people were using it wrong.
Were playing it incorrectly. It was an evergreen mechanic, and then they're like, "Oh, too many people are doing this wrong. We're going to make a change and change it."
I mean,
Megan, you can also play.
I mean, there's a number.
I have my
of these.
guess.
Okay.
There's Lifelink is one of the big ones.
The name has changed as well as the ability.
Oh, they got rid of it and replaced it with a
Yes,
different
they
one.
replaced it with
Okay,
something.
Shroud.
Yes.
Oh.
Is that what you're thinking?
No, I was going to say regenerate.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that great guess.
Yeah, Regenerate got fired for Indestructible as well
Yeah.
because nobody knew how it worked.
Anyway, Shroud.
But
well
yep,
done.
Shroud. But Lifelink is substantially changed.
Yes, that is true.
To the point where there's a trivia question about which card with Lifelink was printed without it, had it added, and now has it as a result, but shouldn't.
What is it?
card?
Loxodon Warhammer.
Oh,
So
yes, yes.
Lifelink, as it was originally keyworded, was a triggered ability.
Yeah.
And
Boggles makes use of this.
right, and so anything that had triggered Lifelink, like the original printing of Loxodon Warhammer, got Lifelink in Oracle. Then Loxodon Warhammer got reprinted with Lifelink. Then they changed it to be a part of dealing damage, so that you don't die. If your creature deals damage at the same time as you take damage, you will survive. But
Bizarre.
everything else but Loxodon Warhammer got reverted because they all behave differently because they have a triggered ability printed on the card. But Loxodon Warhammer didn't get reverted because it had a version physically printed with Lifelink.
Whoa.
Wow. We could do a whole episode about this kind of stuff.
There's
honestly.
infinite deep dives of weird
Weird.
magic templating and history.
Okay,
trivia.
sorry
But
I derailed us.
To get under real things though,
Yes.
so protection. Protection is back.
Did
after-
not think that we would be seeing this again.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised. I thought that I really like hexproof from X.
Yeah.
Protection is super complicated, so
Yeah, I agree.
want to run through it. Everything with protection in this set has a full chunk of reminder text. Read it. It's important. So like let's look at Blight Beetle here.
Cute.
Yeah, Blight Beetle's super cute. It's also super gross.
It is. It is.
It's both things at
Yeah,
once.
exactly. So Blight Beetle is a 1/1 for black and 1. It's an insect. It has protection from green. And the reminder text tells you this creature can't be blocked, targeted, dealt damage, enchanted, or equipped by anything green, which is 5 things. It's 4, but we'll talk about that in a second. And then it also says creatures your opponents control can't have +1/+1 counters put on them.
Okay.
I actually called this out because I wanted to talk about that ability too, which it stops any counters from growing on your opponent's creatures. So any +1/+1 counters. If they try to enter with +1/+1 counters, like the Hydra in this set, they don't get them.
Brutal.
Yeah, Blight Beetle just shuts down counters
That
on your
goes to the
opponent's
graveyard.
Yep. Oh no, the one in the set's a 0/1.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's just
All
really
right, never
bad.
mind.
a 0/1.
Yes, it's just a 0/1. But protection, it says it can't be blocked, it can't be targeted, dealt damage, enchanted, equipped. There's actually a mnemonic that a lot of judges use for this, which is DET. Damage, enchanted, equipped, blocked, targeted. And so if you remember that protection causes debt, that lets you remember what things can't affect
It's funny because
protected
normally
creatures.
protection relieves you from what could be some debt coming in your future.
Maybe to get political, the companies that service student loans in the United States are protected from you discharging your debt. You cannot discharge your bankruptcy for student loans or discharge student loans in bankruptcy in the United States.
Hot dang.
It's the worst.
Wow.
Wow. Good to know. Look, you've
protectionism.
learned 2 things on the show.
Protectionism at its finest. So there's a cycle of uncommons that grant protection, and then there's also the scry one that Feather's going to use.
Gives protection. It's an instant or something.
Yeah. God's Willing, I think.
Oh yeah, God's willing. Yep. You're right.
Yeah, and so God's Willing is in the set, and then there's a cycle of creatures with protection, one of which got shifted up to rare, Shifting Ceratops.
Oh, that was our preview,
preview
card.
card.
Yeah, exactly. It looks amazing, but so you'll see this in limited, and you will get blown out by it because like Blight Beetle, just green things don't interact with him. He just blocks giant green dudes forever, and you can't fight him with your green spells, and things that don't target can affect things with protection. So if you have a Wrath of God that says destroy all creatures, something with protection from white can still be wrathed away. But damage is prevented, so if you have an Anger of the Gods that deals 3 damage to each creature, well, protection from red creatures would have that damage prevented.
Right.
Wow.
So,
Very cool.
Speaking of God's willing, it's a good card, everybody.
Yes.
Don't
It is.
underestimate it.
yeah, play your God's Willings.
And remember, like, I just remember getting tripped up by this when I started playing Magic. Like if they attack with their Blight Beetle,
Yep.
you can't block it with a green creature.
Yep.
If you attack with the green creature, they sure as heck can block it with the
Yes.
Blight Beetle. It will not die.
It is asymmetrical.
Yes.
It's a problem. Blight Beetle is going to hold the fort against green creatures a lot.
Ooh.
He basically says green creatures suck. Like,
I wish that was the rules text.
yeah.
Honestly.
Protection from green. Parentheses. Green creatures suck. Or
Yeah.
flavor text at the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah, the flavor text.
Quote unquote. Green,
Green
creatures,
creatures
suck.
suck.
Blight Beetle.
Yep.
Leylines are back.
Yeah, Leylines are back. If you've played Magic for a while, you'll have run into these. If you haven't, they will surprise you. They do things when you're not playing Magic. So Leyline of Combustion here costs red, and 2 for an enchantment. And it says, if Leyline of Combustion is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield.
Whoa.
So it's on Magic Online, you'll see that it'll say, do beginning of game actions after you finish your mulligans. So with the Leylines, you'll finish your whole mulligan process. So at the London Mulligan, you get more chance to keep a hand with a Leyline in it. And then you'll be able to put it on the battlefield before anybody starts their first turn. And so if you're going second, you do it before your opponent has their first turn.
Yeah, I usually say opening game action.
Yeah, so that's something that's going to come up in limited and standard after both players are done mulliganing. Before you take your first turn, before you play your first land, you ask your opponent, "Do you have anything before I start playing?"
That is very nice of you, Rob.
That's the pleasant way to do it at pre-releases, and they'll ask you, "Why are you doing this?" And you'll be like, "There's Leylines, and at least 3 of them are playable."
Because a lot of times I have
Yes.
forgotten to do this.
Yes. If you're playing Modern, your opponent has a non-trivial chance of starting with Leyline of the Void in play right now. Because Jund decks where it's bad to play Leyline of the Void in their deck are playing it in their main deck
Yes,
right now.
they are.
Modern is a hellscape from which we cannot, from which we have no respite.
Wow. Wow.
I played a lot of Modern recently.
We know how you feel about Hogak.
Yeah. So, but Leyline of Combustion's actual text after that is, whenever you and or at least one permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, Leyline of Combustion deals 2 damage to that player. And this is a bunch of complicated words to say. Whenever they point a thing at you, shoot them.
Yeah.
Like, it's whenever you and or at least one permanent you control is so that if they say cast a spell that says target player and target creature, if they target you and your creature, then it only triggers once.
Okay.
So it triggers once per spell that targets you or some of your things. And it just 2s them in the face. It punches them for playing things. And it is spell or ability. So when Teferi goes to bounce your stuff, you get to Leyline them in the face.
Oh, sick.
Yep.
Okay.
So be aware. This card's fine. It's the best red Leyline ever printed. There's not really meaningful competitors, but the other returning thing is that Treasure is back.
Oh, treasures. I didn't actually realize that.
Yeah, just on one card, Rapacious Dragon. Rapacious Dragon is a dragon, costs red and 4.
Ooh, I love this art.
3/3 flyer. Yeah, the art's great.
He's breathing a
Yep.
nice purple flame.
Yep. Costs 5 red and 4 for a 3/3 flying dragon. When Rapacious Dragon enters the battlefield, create 2 treasure tokens. Treasure tokens are artifacts. They don't have a mana cost, and they say tap and sacrifice this to add 1 mana of any color. So the dragon comes with treasure. Yeah.
Classic.
I love it. And I also just read this flavor text, which is A+, which is a quote. Surely it won't notice if I take... And then it ends.
Yep. Theory of the Sly.
Last words. I love it. Great.
So that is a returning mechanic. It looks like they're just going to have treasure randomly whenever they want it, probably on 1 or 2 cards every set. Basically what it does is it discounts your spell into the future. The treasures sit on the battlefield. They're artifact tokens. They just hang out there until you need them, and then you sacrifice them to cast other things.
I wish it was gold, though, because I loved gold tokens.
Yeah, I wish. So if they would have done gold the way that they wanted treasure to be, they realized that having it tap to sacrifice, because that's the only difference.
Yes, it
treasure
is.
versus gold is that you tap and sacrifice the treasure as opposed to just sacrificing it with gold. And the problem was, and I abuse this in Commander actually, anything that makes gold, you can tap it for things and then also sacrifice it.
Sick.
So I definitely have improvised my Commander with gold.
I see.
So
I just love the gold token of the gold horse. You know, I have some Japanese gold tokens, and so
the ones that Guild and
that Guild made.
Yeah, and so it's just a golden horse statue.
It's just so cool.
Yeah. So that's my stuff for things that are returning.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's the base mechanics. We're talking
Flying,
flying,
first
trample,
strike.
hexproof. Yeah, first strike. Just the base stuff. Anything that's a little bit complicated does have reminder text. Core sets, as we mentioned, are good on ramps. They have reminder text on basically everything. So if you look at a card, you don't know what it does. Well, that text in italics that you usually ignore, because it's if you know how cards work, you can ignore this stuff. Read it. Like, it's helpful. So I want to jump on to individual cards then.
Okay, let's move on. We've got Ajani, Strength of the Pride. Happy Pride Month, Ajani.
Yes, happy Pride Month. He's very strong and very proud. Ajani costs white, and 2 for a Planeswalker with 5 loyalty. +1, you gain life equal to the number of creatures you control plus the number of Planeswalkers you control. -2, create a 2/2 white cat soldier creature token named Ajani's Pridemate. With
So weird.
whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Ajani's Pridemate. And then 0, if you have at least 15 life more than your starting life total, exile Ajani's Strength of the Pride and each artifact and creature your opponents control.
Pretty good.
Yep, he says, you have enough life, I'm just going to take all your opponent's stuff and leave with it. But I want to talk about the middle ability. It makes a token. That token is exactly the same as Ajani's Pridemate, except it's totally not. It looks like an Ajani's Pridemate. It's named Ajani's Pridemate. It doesn't have a mana cost.
True.
And so if you plan to use Ajani's Pridemates as tokens, I would suggest don't do this in a competitive tournament. If you have other cards in your deck box that aren't in your deck, they count as part of your sideboard. And if you're playing Ajani's Strength of the Pride, you could obviously cast them. If you bring these to a Mythic Championship qualifier, if you bring these to a Star City Open or a Grand Prix and play in the event, then and you have these and you have normal Ajani's Pridemates in your deck box.
No.
They'll be part of your sideboard, and so they'll be like, well, you have like 90 cards here because you have 15 Ajani's Pridemate tokens. Except they're not tokens; they're actual cards. If you plan to do this, I would suggest blacking out the mana cost. If you're like, but I don't want to do that. What if I want to use them in a deck? Well, just write Ajani's Pridemate on another thing that isn't a Magic card, right?
Yeah.
And there will be tokens in these booster packs that are named Ajani's Pridemate with no mana cost.
I've seen
Yes.
Yep. And so use those. You might think it's not relevant, except that it's actually relevant. Cards care about mana cost a lot.
Oh, yes.
A surprising amount.
Tokens, no mana cost.
Yep. Oh, that's not true. Tokens that are copies can have mana costs because they'll copy all the characteristics of the object.
Oh, sure. Yes, yes.
That's important for stuff.
For stuff and things.
Yeah, for things
stuff.
like the next card, Cavalier Flame. You've talked about returning to Theros and getting devotion. If you copied Cavalier Flame, you might have a bunch of devotion.
Oh, yeah.
So Cavalier Flame here costs red 2 for a 6/5 elemental knight. And it has red and 1. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. And he also has, when Cavalier Flame enters the battlefield, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. His third ability is when Cavalier Flame dies, it deals X damage to each opponent and each planeswalker they control, where X is the number of land cards in your graveyard.
Cool.
he's ridiculous.
This card does it all.
Yes, he does a lot of things, including like doming your opponent when they try to kill your 6/5. And so the thing with Cavalier Flame's third ability is he locks in the number as it's resolving only. He doesn't lock it in when the trigger goes in the stack. They can kill your Cavalier Flame, put the trigger in the stack, and then exile your graveyard, which then means that they take no damage.
Okay.
Or if you sacrifice him to an effect and you're like, I gotcha, and they're like, exile your graveyard in response. they can stop that ability by responding to it, basically.
Okay.
Which is maybe relevant.
You'll get got.
I assume that I will get got at some point when I try to attack the Cavalier Flame. It's the kind of card that I want to attack with.
I love this next card.
Yes. Kalia Zenithseeker. She costs black, white, red for a 3/3 legendary creature human cleric. She has flying and vigilance. And when Kalia Zenithseeker enters the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an angel card, a demon card, and or a dragon card from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. The phrasing is a little awkward. They've started to use and or a lot more. So I would have templated this card very differently. But this means you get an angel, a demon, a dragon, and you can have any subset of those. So an angel and a dragon, a demon and an angel, whatever. You get up to 3 cards, and it must be at most 1 of each.
So I
Just
can't
like
have...
all the different kinds of her wings.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
She has like angel wings and demon wings. I don't see her
Yes.
dragon wings, but maybe they're there.
So I can't get 2 angels is what you're telling me.
Correct. You can't get 2 angels, but you can get an angel and a dragon. So.
I can't wait to make my angel, dragon, demon deck.
Well, that's what Kalia. I've seen plenty of Kalia of the Vast decks because the original card Kalia of the Vast like reanimated angels, demons, and dragons and stuff, and so she's very powerful.
Very cool.
Mu Yanling Sky Dancer.
A new planeswalker.
Yes. Well, not totally.
Not 100% new.
If you were in China, you could get Mu Yanling from the what was it? The 2018 Chinese Planeswalker decks.
I don't remember, but they made
I
them
think so.
special.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's part of my rant against standard right now because there's like 6 standard formats, and so yeah. But Mu Yanling is new to most places. She's adorable. She's a legendary planeswalker. Yanling costs blue 1. Comes with 2 loyalty, +2 until your next turn. Up to 1 target creature gets -2/-0 and loses flying. -3, create a 4/4 blue elemental bird creature token with flying. And -8, you get an emblem with islands you control have tapped to draw a card.
Sick.
Yeah, I'm excited for that ability. But the first one is the one that I want to talk about. It says up to 1 target creature gets -2/-0 and loses flying until your next turn. If it gains flying after this ability is resolved, it'll have flying. It makes it lose it now. But if you have a spell that gives target creature flying,
Like Mighty Leap.
then you can Mighty Leap to gain flying, and it'll gain flying because it loses it and then it gains it, and so then it has it. It would say loses flying and can't gain flying if they couldn't gain flying.
Okay,
later.
got it.
Amna Locus of the Royal, red, blue, green 1. He adds a color every time he is printed. Apparently, is the joke.
What's a royal?
The Royal is so Zendikar has like really chaotic, powerful mana, and this is the place where Zendikar's mana all kind of like funnels and dumps into.
Oh, the mana dump. I've
Yeah.
been there before.
Yeah, the mana dump. It's so.
Can I borrow your truck? I have to take some stuff to the mana dump.
While you're at the mana dump, can you check? I need a new door for my car.
Oh yeah, I'll see if there's one.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I need a new forest for my mono green.
Oh yep, I'll check for both
Thank
of those
you.
things.
Yep.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
So Omnath here, though, he's a 3/3. He costs 3 colors of mana and a generic legendary creature elemental. When Omnath Locus of the Royal enters the battlefield, it deals damage to any target equal to the number of elementals you control. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target elemental you control. If you control 8 or more lands, also draw a card.
Okay.
Pretty great. His first ability, just like with the Cavalier that we talked about, counts the number of elementals as it resolves. So if your only elemental, if you play Omnath and enters the battlefield, he's an elemental. He would count himself. He
sees himself.
Yeah, he sees himself. You target your opponent, and your opponent's like, murder. They'll take no damage.
Murder.
Yep.
It's common in this set.
Yep. It is. You'll see it more frequently than you will see Omnath for many reasons. Vivian, Arcwill Ranger.
Yeah.
Green, green, green 1 for a 4 loyalty planeswalker.
She's great.
Is her mana cost unique?
What do you mean?
Is
Are
there
there-
nothing else in the world?
I don't think there are any other spells that cost green, green, green 1.
Oh, there must be. Do you want me to research it? You keep talking.
Yeah,
I'm going to
I'll
go
keep
over here,
talking.
everybody.
Yeah,
Maria will be
Scryfall
back.
for that. I think that her mana cost is unique.
Okay.
That's my guess. Green, green, green 1 for 4 loyalty planeswalker. +1. Distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among up to 2 target creatures. They gain trample until end of turn. -3. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker. -5. You may choose a creature card you own from outside the game, reveal it, and put it into your hand.
Ooh.
Vivian has a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of
Yes.
it's weird. So the first, her +1 is distribute. You choose the distribution at the time that you activate the loyalty ability. It's part of how you choose modes. If you distribute damage or counters, you choose that during the time that you pay the costs, basically. It's fancier, but you choose that up front. So you choose target this and that. They're each going to get a counter, and then your opponent knows that before they try to kill your creatures or whatever. If one of the creatures dies, you've lost the counter that was going to be distributed to it. So you target the 2 things, they kill one of them, and you get 1 counter on the other thing.
Oh, there's one other card.
What is it? Put it over here on the screen.
Oh, okay. I'll put it behind
Oh,
you.
yeah, okay, got it. I should have remembered.
Oh,
There it is.
Fangren
It's Fangren Firstborn. It's a 4/2 creature for green, 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 and 1 whenever it attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control.
But you're almost right.
On
Yeah.
each attacking creature.
On each attacking creature you control?
Yeah.
Each
Yeah.
attacking creature. Yeah, okay, got it. Oh, it's not your control. Right, because it's the 2-headed giant all-star.
You almost had it, Rob.
Yeah, close. I was like, this mana cost is real weird. So
is.
Vivian's -5. Vivian's -5 is really similar to Karn the Great Creator's -2. So you can choose a creature card you own from outside the game. This is your sideboard in Constructed, and your sideboard in Limited is every card you're not playing.
What about if you're at home on the
If
kitchen
you're
table?
at home on your kitchen table, go nuts. Whatever your friends think is fair. Oftentimes with cards like this, we'll set like a time limit or a number of cards that you could grab with it or whatever, so that you don't just say, give me 10 minutes, I need to find my...
I'm going to drive over
Yes.
to my dad's house, grab
Right.
my old binder.
Right, exactly. No, we're just like, you get 12 seconds or whatever. I predict that for those of us that are Oathbreaker folks, that there will be some kind of Oathbreaker revision for Vivian and Karn at some point, because it doesn't support wishboards right now, and it probably should, considering that there's 2 planeswalkers that reference them. It doesn't grab from Exile. Exile is a game zone. It's inside the game. If you are playing Modern, Mycosynth Lattice is a thing in Modern right now. It turns out that Mycosynth Lattice does not change things in your sideboard to be colorless. So Glittering Wish can select multicolored cards from your sideboard even with the Mycosynth Lattice in the back.
Bizarre.
It is a real weird interaction.
Wow.
But it can also fetch Transguild Courier, which has an ability that makes it multicolored. Yeah.
We'll just leave that one there.
We'll leave that there. I could explain why, but nobody cares. Yurok, the Desecrated.
He's so desecrated.
I don't know what's going on in this art.
Neither do I.
Nope.
Is he a living spiderweb covered with icicles?
Yes, an icicle spiderweb has grown
Yeah.
arms and is
Yeah.
trying to find its
Oh.
foot.
Yeah.
That has crawled away.
Yep.
Yeah, because
I
we
see
don't-
it's 2 spooky hands.
2 spooky hands, and there's 1 foot there. So it's missing the other foot?
No, I think the other foot is just off screen.
Okay.
That's obviously
Yeah, and
we solved it.
it has a glowing green middle.
Yeah, like all evil things do.
Yes.
Okay.
Classic.
That got it. What did the art description? What did the art pitch?
Exactly
to-
what we just said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
An
that-
evil, glowing green animated spiderweb made of icicles is looking for its foot, which has crawled away with its 2 spooky arms.
Okay. I mean, Dark can knock that out of the park if that's the case.
Yeah.
But I'm a little lost. So, but Yurok, just say what he actually does. He costs blue, green, black, and 2 for a 3/5 legendary creature elemental horror. Because this is the set of elementals, and obviously this is a horror. Death Touch, lifelink. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time.
Is this the same as, what's her name?
Nahumira the Wizard.
No, I was thinking of the Orzhov lady.
Huh?
Teysa Orzhov Scion.
Yeah, the new Teysa.
Oh, yeah.
She says dies.
Oh, okay.
So the Yurok gets you in the way in, she gets you on the way out.
Okay, gotcha.
Yurok specifically, it has to be a triggered ability. It can be a triggered ability from that thing because it entering the battlefield is a permanent. And so it has to say when this enters the battlefield or whenever a creature enters the battlefield or whenever an artifact enters the battlefield. It doesn't matter what the trigger condition is as long as that trigger condition happened as a result of the creature entering in some way. If something says it enters the battlefield with or it enters the battlefield as, those aren't triggered abilities. They actually change the way it enters the battlefield and replaces it with entering the battlefield a little bit differently and a little bit strangely. So be aware and look at the exact wording of cards. I feel like this should have reminder text that says triggered abilities start with when, whenever, or at.
I agree with you.
But yeah, that's what you have to pay attention to for Yurok, because there are some things that aren't triggered abilities in the set that kind of look like it.
Ooh, up comes our favorite new Chandra.
Yeah, Teenage Chandra. She's great. Red 1 for a legendary Planeswalker Chandra. Chandra Acolyte of Flame is her name. Her name isn't Teenage Chandra. She probably should.
Teenage Chandra.
Yes.
Because I'm
yes.
just a teenage Chandra, babe. Anyways.
I would also accept Chandra Teenage Investigator or some. Yeah.
I hope that's the new Netflix show.
That'd be a pretty great Netflix show.
It's basically just, what am I thinking of? You know, like Nancy Drew.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Or Teenage Pyromancer would also, Chandra Teenage Pyromancer would
that'd
also be a fine show.
great card
That'd be great.
name.
Yes. But Chandra, she starts with 4 loyalty for red and 1. 0. Put a loyalty counter on each red planeswalker you control. If you control her future self or her past self or her friends or her enemies, as long as they're red, they get a counter.
And herself?
Yeah, and her. So she'll increase her own loyalty. 0. Create 2 1/1 red elemental creature tokens. Those tokens gain haste. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. And -2. You may cast target instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard. If that card would be put into your graveyard this turn, exile it instead. So 2 things to note with this. You have to pay for it. It doesn't say without paying its mana cost. If you Chandra for a Stone Rain, you have to pay the mana cost for your Stone Rain. So oftentimes -2ing her the turn she comes out doesn't really get you a lot because your spell has to be castable. That said, there's a loophole in the exile clause. So it says if it would be put to your graveyard, exile it. If it wouldn't go to your graveyard, you don't need to exile it. So if you have a buyback spell that buys back to your hand, well, it doesn't get exiled. If you have something that's already getting exiled for some reason, then it's still going to get exiled, and it'll get exiled in the special way that it does. So
I was already going to exile.
my rebound spell
on its way to exile.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm already going to exile. You don't need to worry about me. I'm fine. Like it's all cool. We're all cool here, friends.
I was thinking of, like, I was reading old Oracle text today, and it's like, if this was on its way to the graveyard, is one of my favorite things that it used to say. Like, here I go, boop, 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 on
back
my way to the
before
graveyard.
templating was a thing.
Yeah.
When instead of consistent card text, you got Zen koans on how the world works. We have another Chandra card for the next thing I want to talk about. Chandra's Regulator.
This card's great.
This card's great and it's cool, and I have no idea what this art is. Like, is this a...
That's her thing. So she does
It's her thing that she puts on.
It regulates her flame control.
She's wearing it in young her and old her, but not
the one that I'm looking at right above.
Of course, the teenager's not wearing the regulator. That just makes flavor
sense. That's like the gauntlet thing that goes on her arm, and that's like a little pack.
Got it. All right.
Yeah.
I understand now.
Okay.
I was confused because I didn't have any sense of scale. So it's like, is this like a Zippo lighter? Is it tiny?
Oh, I see. No.
But Chandra's Regulator. It's a legendary artifact for red and 1. So something that is going to come up in the set, colored artifacts. They're artifacts, they can tap. They're also colored. We've seen these before. If you've been playing for a while, you'll have seen them in Alara. You'll have seen them in the previous set.
The Gear Hulks.
Yeah. The Gear Hulks back on Kaladesh. Yeah. But the Regulator here, whenever you activate a loyalty ability of a Chandra Planeswalker, you may pay 1 mana. If you do, copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. 1 tap, discard a mountain card or a red card to draw a card.
This card's so good.
This card's amazing.
Yeah.
But,
I'm just like gonna die to this in standard in the mono red Chandra's deck.
Yep. You can play 4, 5, 6 Chandra's in one library right now,
Oh my god.
right? Like
Great.
until
Yeah.
the fall, right? There's like 6 Chandras in
Oops, all
standard.
Chandras.
Think so.
Yeah, oops all Chandras. It's like oops all Gideons, but with more fire.
Yeah.
But Chandra's Regulator here copies loyalty abilities. That's awesome. It doesn't copy loyalty costs. So if you have a Chandra with a +1 ability, you pay the cost of +1 and you copy the text to the right of the colon. You don't get more loyalty for using Chandra's
I see what
Regulator.
you're saying.
So you don't have to pay the cost again if it is a minus, and you don't have to pay the adding loyalty because you actually pay by adding loyalty counters for the other things. It's a weird compromise with how the rules work. But you don't get bonus loyalty unless you're activating Chandra Acolyte of Flame's ability. Then you're copying the effect, which adds the counters.
Yeah.
So,
Makes sense.
yep. Marauding Raptor. Marauding Raptor is a dinosaur.
Infinite dinosaurs.
Infinite dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Or just a finite
Dinosaurs.
number of dinosaurs that make lands.
Yeah.
Or something. So Marauding Raptor is red and 1 for a 2/3 dinosaur. It says creature spells you cast cost 1 mana less to cast. And whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Marauding Raptors deals 2 damage to it. If a dinosaur is dealt damage this way, Marauding Raptor gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So the obvious question that everyone has asked is Polyraptor. It takes damage and it makes a copy of Polyraptor. What happens? And the answer is you probably end up drawing the game.
Yeah, because it
Wow.
cannot stop.
It
Yep.
just, it can't.
Yep.
It can't.
It can't stop and it won't stop.
Yep.
No.
As they say.
It doesn't know how to stop.
No.
But you can stop it. You can prevent dinosaur fires.
How?
So by killing your Marauding Raptor. So if you kill one of the dinosaurs if you kill one of the dinosaurs at the right time, you can prevent this from happening.
So you can be like, I make 1,000 Polyraptors,
And
and
then
then
I
I
kill this.
kill this
and then
Marauding Raptor.
Yeah, I murder my Marauding Raptor or I murder the Polyraptor.
Okay.
And so you can, if you do it with the Marauding Raptor trigger on the stack, you can kill Polyraptor. And if you kill Marauding Raptor, mostly any time in the interaction, it'll stop it. Pretty much any time because it won't be around for the next iteration.
Yeah.
So be aware that you can escape clause out of this by doing that. You can also prevent the damage that would happen to Polyraptor. You can give it protection with God's willing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's a decision you can make. If you do happen to do this, if you give your random last Polyraptor protection, I'd love a screenshot of it.
So would I. I think
Yeah.
this is neat. I would like to see it happen.
Yeah. But it does. The game ends in a draw. And your opponent is not obligated to break it up for you. If your opponent has things on the board that can stop this, they are not obligated to stop you from drawing.
They don't have to
They
draw.
can just be like, we're drawing.
We're drawing to the game.
They're like, you have an unlimited supply of Polyraptors. Game 2. If you are playing in a tournament, note that you think it's to best of 2. So you think like if you draw a game, you think it's best 2 out of 3. It's not. It sounds like best 2 out of 3, but it's actually the first player to win 2 games in the match. So it's technically possible to play like 9 games, which is the most I've ever seen in a match.
What?
Wow.
There's a deck.
When did
There was
this
a deck
happen?
in Vintage years ago, and you could still technically play it, but it's not very good. That used Animate Dead on World Gorger Dragon. And World Gorger Dragon, when it enters the battlefield, exiles all of your permanents.
Okay.
And Animate Dead's an enchantment that animates it from the graveyard and then goes away and then comes back. When Animate Dead leaves the battlefield, you sacrifice the thing that it brought back from the graveyard. So you animate your World Gorger Dragon, and then Animate Dead gets exiled by World Gorger Dragon. World Gorger Dragon dies. World Gorger Dragon says when it leaves the battlefield, all the things that exiled come back. And so Animate Dead comes back and reanimates World Gorger Dragon. If you don't have any other creatures in the graveyard, this ends the game in a draw.
Yep.
If you can't kill your opponent.
Because it just keeps going.
Yeah.
Like,
And so-
I come back. I
Yeah.
animate it.
Right, but it
No,
exiles other things and brings them back so that you get to tap your lands and your moxes for mana. And so what the deck would do is it would do that. It would then cast a big kill spell at its opponent, and their opponent would counter it and be like, well, all right, the game's a draw. We're going again. I'm going to try to World Gorger you out again next game.
All right.
Wow, okay.
And so
Right.
it was possible for World Gorger to draw a bunch of games in sequence.
Boo.
It's a weird thing.
Cool.
So, yep. And you could only get up to 9 games because the games are so fast because you could World Gorger them on turn 1 or 2. But
Magic's a beautiful game.
And Magic is a wonderful game, and I love it. Embodiment of Agonies is the next card I want to talk about, though.
Spookiest card in the set. This is bad, and I don't like it.
It's very spooky. Look at it.
Does he have people inside his chest?
He has people's faces trying to press out of his chest.
I was just looking at him and be like, oh, this art's kind of
He's literally full of agony.
There's literally screaming people inside of him.
There's going to be a photo of a card right here or there, and it's going to be creepy, and you're going to look at it. And be like,
yes, it's real messed up.
Cannot unsee.
Yeah.
There's one even in the middle of his tongue.
Yeah. So Embodiment of Agonies, though, it's a black 1 for a 0/0 with Flying Death Touch. And it says Embodiment of Agonies enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each different mana cost among non-land cards in your graveyard. And then it has reminder text, which says, for example, 2 black and black 1 are different mana costs. So
true.
Yes. The stuff to know about Embodiment of Agonies. If the symbols are different at all, it's a different mana cost. This includes X. So red X is different than just red. And that's different from red and 1. All of those are different mana costs. Black and 1 is different than red and 1. Those are different mana costs. What you basically do is make a list of everything that's on the upper right of a card in your graveyard. If that card isn't a land, or if that card's a land, you ignore it for this list. If there's a blank up there, if there's nothing at all in the upper right, you also ignore it because it doesn't have a mana cost.
Like something with suspend.
Yep, one of those suspend cards like Mox Tantalite from Modern Horizons or
Crashing Footfalls.
Yep. Those cards don't have a mana cost, so they don't improve Embodiment of Agonies. But 0 is a mana cost. Ornithopter does improve Embodiment of Agonies. And XX is different than just X. So
that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And XXX is different than either of those. There's a cap on how big he can be, but it's pretty large. There's a lot of mana costs in the game. So what you're basically going to do is pick up your graveyard and lay it out in piles that all match each other based on mana cost if you're late in the game. And you can rearrange your graveyard in every format but Legacy and Vintage. Or if you're playing, ask your opponents in Commander or Oathbringer or whatever in casual stuff if they're playing cards that care about somebody's graveyard order. All of those cards are like 20 years old, so maybe not. But yeah, this is a weird card, and I love it.
And very creepy.
Yeah, it's also going to someday be. There's a question that I love to hear asked every once in a while, which is if you could put 10 Magic cards in a time capsule, and you wanted to explain the game to somebody in the future, then what 10 cards did you put in to explain the game of Magic with no other context? They don't know anything about Magic when they open this up. And previously, one of the mandatory slots was Trinisphere because it's the only card that explains the mana system.
Oh, really?
Yeah, its reminder text explains how like the fact that black and 1 and black and 2 are different costs. But Embodiment of Agonies also tells you this thing.
Wow.
So it can take Trinisphere's slot in my time capsule now.
Okay, well, great. Dig that thing up.
So the next card I want to talk about is Masterful Replication. Blue and 5 for an instant. Choose one. Either make 2 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature tokens, or choose target artifact you control, and every other artifact you control becomes a copy of that artifact until end of turn.
Sahili!
Yes. Working at the golem factory, I'm bored, so I'm going to turn all of our tables into golems. I don't know why. And when you copy something, you copy the base characteristics of the object. So whatever is physically printed on the card. If something is animated, like it's a vehicle, you have a Silent Submersible, you crew Silent Submersible, it's now animated as a creature, you copy it with the Masterful Replication here, you get the base object. It's not animated. That ability that animated it isn't applying to it. You just get a Silent Submersible.
Oh, sad.
Yeah.
I don't even know why you're playing that, but okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, some people juggle geese.
2 3/3 golem artifact creature tokens at instant speed.
I won't hate on it.
Yeah, some people are going to have fun with this card. This card is not very good, but it is very fun. So...
I mean, if you cast it in limited, it's pretty good.
Yeah. No, I played this in a lot, like basically 100% of my blue limited decks, right?
Yeah.
And I might even splash for it. Like you said, 2 3/3s at instant speed is pretty good.
Yeah.
Note that if you're copying things like this, they don't enter the battlefield. So enters the battlefield triggers, enters the battlefield replacement effects don't apply. They're currently Silent Submersibles. they're not new silent submersibles.
They just are.
Yeah, they
now.
just are. They can attack if they've been under your control since the beginning of the turn. So, and they're creatures. So that like they just surprise, you all think you're silent submersibles for the remainder of the turn. Figure it out. So a gruesome scourger. Gruesome scourger? Yeah.
Gruesome Scourger.
Scourger.
Gruesome Scourger.
Scourger.
That's my favorite name.
Gruesome Scourger.
Yeah.
Gruesome
Black and
Scourger.
3 for this 3/3 Orc Warrior. When Gruesome Scourger enters the battlefield, it deals damage to target opponent or planeswalker equal to the number of creatures you control. Just like we mentioned above, this figures out its number as the trigger resolves. They can murder it in response so that they take less damage or so that their planeswalker survives.
Yep.
Speaking of gurging,
Savage Gorger.
A Savage Gorger.
Gorger.
We were intentionally trying
Yes.
to mess people up.
Yes.
Okay.
Savage Gorger.
Savage Gorger. What was the other one named?
Savage
Gruesome
Scourger.
Gruesome Scourger.
So they switched the
Savage
first letter too. It's
Gorger.
GS and SG, right?
Gruesome Scourger and Savage Gorger.
These,
Fight crime together.
yeah, they're front man for a real bad metal band. So black 1 for a 1/1 flying vampire. And at the beginning of your end step, if an opponent lost life this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Savage Gorger. Damage causes loss of life. It reminds you. What it doesn't remind you of is he does not care if he was there.
Okay, yeah.
So it like he just says, "Hey, before we finish this turn, did that jerk lose life?" And so if you attack them with a random creature, they take damage, and after combat you cast Savage Gorger, you'll get to put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Hey, did that idiot over there gain life?
Hey,
lose
hey.
life?
Lose life.
Did he lose life?
That jerk
Yeah.
lose life?
Yeah. Well, then I'm gonna get tougher so that I can make him lose more life.
Nice.
That's
right.
the stuff that I wanted to go through basically.
Wow.
Wow. So
nice.
it's more than average for your average core set.
So yeah, more than a normal core set. There's a lot of triggered abilities in this core set, and a lot of it, like the thing that I keep running into with people is they're like, well, no, I still get to do you 3 points of damage, and I'm like, no, not as such. The cards mostly just do what they say. That's the general theme is if you read a card, it does what it says.
Read the fun card, everybody.
Yeah, read the fun card. I like friendly cards.
Oh, friendly. They're all
Read the
very,
friendly cards.
They're all
very
very
friendly.
friendly cards.
Yeah,
They want
except
to be
for
read.
this guy. He's not very friendly.
Marauding Raptor.
He's very angry. He doesn't want friends. He punches anybody who tries to team up with him.
I'm a friend. Gah.
Yep.
All right, everybody, it's time to name Cutest and Grossest card from Magic Core Set 2020.
That's right. So first up, our demon buddy that we were just taking a good look
Oof.
at. What was his name again?
Embodiment of
Embodiment
Agonies.
of Agonies. Look, that's pretty spooky. That's a real spooky
Very
card.
spooky.
There are tortured souls inside of him trying to push their faces through his chest.
Doesn't get
Big
much grosser
spook.
than that.
Big spook. But then there is also what I believe I'm going to name the winner, which is Thought Distortion.
Oh, that is so.
It's so.
I don't like it.
No, it's like a person's face being twisted and pulled. I don't know. It's not great.
I don't like it.
It's real spook.
I'm off it.
Big spook. I'm out.
I can understand this.
That's me. All right.
All right, so Cutest card. We're going to
Yeah.
give you the runners up as usual.
Yes.
A lot of cute cards in this set, so A+. First, Pacifism, which Rob pointed out, which
Yep.
Has a giant knitting a little heart, which I love. So great art on Pacifism.
Cute.
Yep.
What do you think it is? A scarf with a heart on it? Maybe a little napkin or something?
Well, for all you know, it's like a blanket for one of his friends.
I know.
Oh,
'cause
that's
he's a
nice.
giant.
Yeah, like, I mean,
Yeah.
could be a bib for his baby.
I also am going to give a runner up to Cerulean Drake, which is very cute, a blue little flying drake friend. I have a very soft spot in my heart for tiny little drakes.
Yeah.
So I like that. Another blue card, which I love, and is actually the next runner up, even though I'm going to do them out of order, almost got Cutest card, was Moat Piranhas, which are so cute.
They're big old underbites.
They're just like. Another runner up, which a lot of people were like, this should win, but I'm telling you that it's too pushed, and I will not I will not cave to Ferocious Pup. I'm sorry. It's just too pushed.
Wow.
I won't do it. But another card that is likewise as pushed, and I will cave to, is Chandras Ember Cat, which gets the crown.
Oh, Maria, they played you.
They played me like a fiddle.
They played you like a fiddle.
But it is also, I have passed up cats, so it's not that I will always give a cat the award of cutest card.
That cat is so cute.
But this cat is very cute.
Meow.
It's literally made. Yeah, that's its line, right? I don't understand why it doesn't just have meow as its flavor.
Oh my god!
Like I don't get it.
You're so right. Oh my gosh. Okay, yes. Meow
Ow.
is brilliant and absolutely what this should be. Wow. Now I'll never unhear that because that is perfect. But also you can win Chandras Ember Cat in the Mastery Pass thing, or you can buy her. So I'm really excited for this kitty to be my battlefield friend. You got me, Arena. You got my money. Okay, you win. You win.
Amazing.
So there you go. Chandra's Ember Cat, cutest card.
Meow.
Yep.
Hey, have you ever wanted a giant playmat?
That is so beautiful.
That's great.
I know
That
I
is
have.
so beautiful.
Yes.
Well, UltraPro, one of the
UltraPro.
amazing sponsors of Good Luck High
one of
Five.
these?
Look at this.
Rob is excited.
We're on. If you're not looking at the see it. I know. If you're not looking at the video version, you're really missing out. Because this is just
I can.
some
Rob's
gorgeous.
holding it for us. Thank you, Rob.
Yeah.
We've got a beautiful Gideon here in the center, flanked by all of the planeswalkers.
Yes, really over here looking A+.
Here's Sarkin.
Look at this Vraska. Look at Nahiri is great, but you know, Soren.
You may have seen the art for this in your local game store. They had a triptych of these posters that came out with War of the Spark, but here's a playmat version.
You can get a whole big old playmat.
gorgeous.
It's so beautiful.
UltraPro.
And so much of the stuff that they make is
Absolutely.
like playmats, deck boxes, normal size playmats.
Yeah.
All binders. Great.
Wall scrolls. Do you want History of Benalia?
Travis doing so much work.
Wall scroll. They've got those.
Well, no, it's fine. I've seen this one before. That's why I was so excited because this is great.
Yeah, do you want to just take a nap under this?
It's amazing.
You could.
Taking naps under playmats is really awkward from experience. Like
From
It
experience.
doesn't breathe. Do you know how many playmats I own?
I've seen your collection. It is quite impressive.
It's very impressive.
Yeah. Don't.
Get a playmat from UltraPro, but don't take a nap under it.
Yep, it's true.
Well,
All right.
everybody, that's this episode of Good Luck High Five. Thank you again to Judge Rob for hanging out and giving us some
Yay.
education.
You are welcome. I love coming on board. Did we not have questions?
We're going to save the questions
Okay.
for YouTube.
Ooh, for YouTube.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Gives a reward for coming and watching the YouTube video.
that's right.
Yes.
You see
Scroll- yes.
our angle here.
Yes.
So if you have any more questions for Rob, you can put them in our YouTube video underneath the video in the comments section. And Rob, when will you go check that?
So generally I check it the day it goes up and then like multiple times a day for about a week.
Okay.
Sometimes
so, yeah.
more depending on how long conversations go. And so you can ask questions. I will answer them. If I've made mistakes, tell me and I will admit them, or I'll make jokes and then admit them anyways.
So yeah, that'll happen on Thursday. After this is our episodes always come out on Tuesday. So Thursday the video comes out on YouTube and Rob will be there and check it out if you have questions for him. And I had another thank you I wanted to give out on this episode. I was at Grand Prix Dallas Fort Worth this past week, and I had a lot of people who came up and said that they liked the show or our content that we make. So thank you everybody who came up and said hi. It really does matter to meet you all out there and know that you appreciate what we do. And somebody came and gave me a playmat for the Hunter Burton Memorial Open, which is a tournament.
Such a good event.
And Rob knows about this. It's a tournament that's held every year in Hunter Burton's memorial, of course, and to support mental health awareness.
Yes.
And they just had their tournament in May, but they've got it scheduled for next year already. It's going to run March 28th through 30th.
It was March this year too.
Oh, March.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So it's going to run March 20th through 30th, and it's held in Texas.
Yep.
So if you're interested in supporting mental health awareness, you can go check out their website. It's hunterburtonmemorialopen.com.
Yep.
And I know some content creators headed to this tournament this year and will probably go in again next year.
Yeah.
Great cause. More information on the website if you want to support this event. And big thank you to the for the playmat. It was beautiful.
For your context, it's a charity tournament, and everything ends up going to different suicide prevention and suicide awareness and other related charities,
Yeah.
and it's a great and touching time.
Yeah.
So you should go.
Yeah. So thank you to them for coming up and saying hi to me.
Oh, and they stream it every year, right? Yeah. They do live coverage. They stream it, and so you could tune into it, and it's always great.
Yeah. So big thumbs up to them and what they're doing for suicide prevention and awareness. Yeah, that's our episode. Thanks again, of course, to everyone who supports us on patreon.com/glhfmagic, cardkingdom.com/glhf, Judge Rob and all of your local judges for being awesome people and helping out at all of these tournaments all the time.
Thank your local judge.
For out of the kindness of their hearts. And
well, I get paid. Well, no, but it like I want to hit this misconception quick.
Okay.
Judges aren't volunteers. When we're judging at your local game store, we should be getting something as a result. When we do stuff for the judge program, we're generally volunteering our time to the program. But if somebody makes money off of it, the judge should be making money too.
Okay.
So because otherwise, like, I love my local game store owners. I will pay them for products. I do not donate my time to them.
Okay, that's fair.
Yep. They make money.
Healthy boundaries.
So, yes.
So if you're heading out to your pre-release this weekend, let us know. Use the hashtag MTGM20 and tweet at us at GLHFMagic, where we'd love to see your cool pulls, the decks that you build, what you think is good. You can find us everywhere on the internet.
This week, return of our worst rares to open.
Yes. I'm very excited for this video.
So get ready to know what exactly you don't want to see, but inevitably will.
Yeah, if you're not a sub on our YouTube channel, go do that, youtube.com/goodluckhighfive, and hit the little notification button so you know when we post vids. But yeah, you can find us there. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. We're GLHF Magic. And, you know, you can also just like shout out your wish to us in the air. If you shout it loud enough, we'll hear it.
Do they do the blade of grass?
Yeah, if you whistle
to you?
through the blade of grass, we'll hear it.
Got it.